This is Mac from jlptbootcamp.com here with another Japanese particle grammar lesson for the N5 level. This lesson going to cover 4 different particles that sometimes have similar meanings: o, kara, mare, and e. And these 4 particles can be used to talk about space and time, ending points and starting points, basically. And they're pretty easy to get mixed up, so I thought I'd go over them all in one particular episode. So first, of course, the first use of O is the basic direct object marker. This marks an object that you're going to do something with. So for example, watashi wa eiga o mimashita. So watashi wa eiga o mimashita. What am I watching? I'm watching a movie. Basically answers that question. That's what the direct object is. What are you eating? What are you looking at? What are you reading? That would be marked by the O particle. In general, there's some exceptions where the O particle can be switched out for other particles. I kind of go over that a little bit more in the PDF on the premium site, but for the most part, O marks the basic direct object. Now the second use of O is a little more tricky. This is one that a lot of people kind of forget about. I forgot about when I was at a lower level, and that is that it marks a space that something or someone moves through, across, in, on, or along. And note the key words there. It has to be something that moves. We can't use this particular use of O with a kind of a stationary verb like benkyou suru, I'm studying. You can't say that and use O. You have to be moving through something, going through something, using it in that way. So for example, watashi wa hashi o watarimasu means I walk across the bridge. So kind of you're going through something or across something. You can use O in this way. So quick pop quiz. Can you translate this sentence? I ate a sandwich. I ate a sandwich. So, all right. If you translate that, if you want to say that in Japanese, it'd be watashi wa sandwichi o tabeta. I ate a sandwich. Pretty simple. That's the basic use of the O particle. So, third use of the O particle is, and this is where we're starting to talk about the space and time, third use is that it shows where an action began. So, for example, 7時に仕事を出た. So, at 7 o'clock, I left work. I went home. This O, in this sense, is emphasizing the point. So you can kind of think of it as like I exited work. The verb is exit, and what you're exiting is work. Or this is used with used a lot with deru, in some other kind of verbs like that. You're leaving something. You're departing. You're coming away from. It just marks the point where an action began. Again, pop quiz. Quick translation. He is swimming in the pool. Can you translate that? He is swimming in the pool. All right. 彼はプールを泳いでいます. He is swimming in the pool. So this is the second use of O. That he's kind of swimming through the pool, so to speak. He's in the pool and he's swimming through it. He's doing an action through something, and so we can use the O particle in this situation. All right, now on to kara. Now, kara again is pretty simply the translation of from in English. It shows a starting point in space or time from a place or since a certain time. You can use this for time or physical places. And for example, Gakko kara ie made hashirimashita. I ran from the school to home. And the difference here, we just went over O. The third use of O, if you remember, is it shows where an action began, which sounds very similar to kara. And the difference here is that kara emphasizes movement between 2 points. And usually it's linked to made. So something kara, made. So from this to this, in space or time. Whereas O emphasizes just a starting point. So you can try to think of it again as he exited the building. If you can use it in that sense without from, he exited the building, he went away, he left the building, he left school. Try to think of it in that sense. It's emphasizing the starting point and not traveling between 2 points when you're using O to mean a starting point. Again, another pop quiz. He left the restaurant at 8. Can you translate that? All right, time's up. The translation would be 彼は8時にそのレストランを出た. So, again, this would be the starting point of an action. He left, using the verb 出る. All right. So we talked about kara. Now, the other side of that bookend is made. Made means until, up to, even, the ending point in space or time of a particular action. So, for example, here, 54ページまで読んだ. I read up to page 54 and including page 54. So I read all the pages, including page 54, is what that would mean. Now, one thing to remember here is made, without ni, behaves a little differently than until in English. It depends on who you ask what until means in English. I looked up until in a few grammar books just to double check, but technically, according to grammarians in the English language, until means something continues up into a point but doesn't include that point. So, for example, if you say, I'm going to work until Saturday, it means you're going to work every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but not Saturday. Again, some people will argue sometimes that would include Saturday, or they wouldn't be quite sure or whatnot. But in Japanese, when you're using made to mean until for times, it does include that point. So kinyobi made hataraku means I will work every day from now, including Friday, but not Saturday. So try to remember that when you are using this grammar point, and especially on the test, there's almost always one listening question that involves something about schedules, or when something happens, or when somebody is free or whatnot. And it's really important to remember this, that it includes the day that is mentioned, kinyobi made. So it includes kinyobi, every day until, every day up to and including Friday. All right, pop quiz. The movie starts at 8. The movie starts at 8. Can you translate that? Translation would be 映画は8時から8時始まります. At 8 o'clock, the movie starts. Basically, it runs from 8 o'clock, you could say, as a direct translation. The last particle we're going to go over today, though, is a, toward or to. And this is not very often used, but it is still a pretty useful particle. It's used for addressing certain things. And so, for example, we could say this sentence here, Watashi wa koen e arukimashita. I walked to the park. And you might be thinking, well, this sounds very similar to ni, and it is. Actually, a and ni can be used interchangeably in a lot of situations. There's some exemptions. There's some special exceptions to that. Obviously, they kind of behave a little bit differently, but for the most part, they can be used interchangeably in a lot of situations. Not all situations, in a lot of situations. For more details about the specifics, you can check out the PDF on that that I have at the premium site. It goes over all the little nuances between a and ni. All right, let's wrap it up. Do you remember the uses of o, kara, mare, and e? Quick review. There's 3 uses of o for this kind of basic level, N5 level. First use of o, it's the basic direct object marker. It can sometimes be switched out for other particles like wa or ga, but it's kind of the default direct object marker. The second use of o marks a space that something or someone moves through. Again, has to be an action that involves movement. They're walking, they're running, they're swimming, they're doing something through space. Third use of o shows where an action began, which is very similar to kara. It shows a starting point in space or time, but the difference there is that the third use of o emphasizes the point of departure, the point that you're, the starting point of whatever the action is, whereas kara emphasizes movement between 2 points of physical space. And of course, you can't use o with time. Next one, mare, is until, up to, even, the ending point of a space or time of an action. Usually, kare and mare tend to be used together in sentences. They don't have to be, though. And there's plenty of situations where you can use mare just by itself. Last one is a simple particle that means toward or to. And in general, it isn't used as much as ni. It has a similar meaning as ni, but it is obviously still a very essential and important particle. And that's the 4 particles for today. If you have any questions or comments, please by all means comment on the bottom of the video here, and I hope to hear from you soon. Come visit me at jlptbootcamp.com and leave me a message there. Until next time, happy studying. This has been a grammar explanation video from the JLPT Bootcamp premium site. Inside the site, you will find some extra goodies, for example, some cheat sheets for all of the videos. And those cheat sheets include a few things. For example, some common mistakes that people make, as well as some example test questions for the JLPT. If you're interested in taking the JLPT and you want that extra edge, something to kind of push you above and get the points that you need to pass, I encourage you to stop by the website at jlptbootcamp.com/premium. There you can find the cheat sheets as well as some extra practice with the grammar points that I've been talking about today. Hope to see you in the premium site very soon. This has been Mac from jlptbootcamp.com.